IGCSE Unit P2, which is kinetic theory, and this is the first part of the video. So first of all, we need to understand what matter is. Matter is defined as a substance that has mass and takes up space, and as you probably know, there are three states of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. So solids, the arrangement of solids is that they are tightly packed in a regular repeating pattern. The motion of the particles is that they vibrate around fixed positions, and in general they don't really move a lot. The intermolecular forces that hold a solid together are very strong, and their shape is generally fixed. So say if you were to put a solid in a container, it would not change its shape to fit the container. And they are not compressible. So for liquids, they are closely packed together and mostly touching, but they are not arranged in a regular way like solids. The particles vibrate and slide past each other, and the intermolecular forces that hold them together are relatively weaker when compared to solids. The shape is not fixed, since a liquid tends to take the shape of the container it is in, and they are also not compressible. So for gases, this time the particles are spaced very far apart and they're irregular and random in arrangement. The particles move around in all directions, and the forces that hold them together are very small and very weak, which allows them to move freely. The shape is not fixed. It can be, compressed, or it can expand as well. So next we have Brownian motion, which is, it looks like this in a particle diagram, and it's defined as the random motion of particles suspended in a fluid due to collisions with other smaller fast-moving particles. An example of this is when pollen grains are placed in water. They move around in random directions since they experience collisions with the smaller water particles, and if you were to view it through a microscope, it would look like the bottom right photo. Next we have diffusion. So diffusion can be defined as the random movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to a lower one due to the collisions of particles. And also we have to be able to define what temperature is. So temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the molecules in a substance, and this essentially depends on the speed at which these particles are moving. And it's usually measured using a thermometer, and these are ones we've seen before. So there's a few parts on a thermometer. So firstly we have the bulb at the bottom, which holds a volume of liquid, and this expands upon heating, moving up the capillary tube. And on the capillary tube we have a linear scale, which allows us to read the temperature. And so some key terms to do with thermometers is number one, fixed points, which are the standard references used to calibrate a thermometer. So in this case it would be the 0 degrees and the 100 degrees. And then we have range, which is the difference between the maximum and minimum points. And then we have sensitivity, which is a measure of the responsiveness of the thermometer. So this is the change in length or volume of the liquid per change in temperature. And lastly, we have linearity, which is when a change in temperature produces an equal change in length. And mercury was a popular substance used in thermometers, and this is because it's the only known metal which remains as a liquid at room temperature. All the others would be solid, and it also has a high boiling point, so it can measure up to high temperatures.